All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SIM500, presented by One to Go Studios. I'm joined today by John Sanford and John Mustaine Jr. I know I probably just butchered that up. Guys, how you doing today?
We're doing great. Harold, it's good to be with you. John Mustaine Jr. here in the booth with us tonight, here live for the Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series, live from Daytona International Speedway. And John, it's going to prove to be an incredible night here for this SIM500 series. But anytime you come to Daytona, you know we always talk about it's not if, it's when the big one will strike. We witnessed last weekend with the same series as they visited last weekend, another difficult track. When it comes to Dover, now to Daytona, what an incredible difference.
It really is, John. These guys are some of the best in iRacing, some of the best I've ever seen, honestly. And when we get to these plate tracks, it's so fun to watch these guys. So like you said, we're coming from Dover, a 1 mile concrete track, to Daytona, USA. Most folks would argue the capital of racing for NASCAR. And these guys really put on a great show on the high banks of Daytona.
No doubt about it. Well, let's go ahead and let's touch on our starting grid here tonight for the Coastal Safety Auditors. Missed out on the 24th driver. 25th is Ed Williams. 26th, Christopher Matthews. 27th, Luis D. Sarabia. 28th, Randy Yoakum. 29th, Steve Herring, Dale Knott, Gail Brooks, Jeff Ryan, James Brooks, and Gerald Livingston. That is your starting field for tonight's Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series here live from Daytona International Speedway. And we are delighted that you have joined us again. Jonathan Sanford, along with John Mustaine Jr. and Harold Darner down in the production booth as we get ready to go green here shortly. And you know, we talked about it, John. It's going to be one of those nights. You're going to have some different strategies. You're going to have some guys that are going for the front and are going to fight from the very beginning. You're going to have some guys that are going to lull behind, and we're going to find that out now as the green flag is out and we're underway.
I'll tell you what, you dropped it right there, man. These guys, a bunch of different strategies. Do I run hard at the beginning? Do I get up there and fight it out, or do I ride in the back? I'm a ride in the back kind of guy, John, but 90% of the time it doesn't matter where I'm at. I always get tangled up with the big one.
Well, it's always interesting to watch that strategy because sometimes you've got guys that'll run in the back like that until the last, 15, 20 laps, and then they make that drive to the front, something happens, and they get caught up, and that can be very frustrating.
Absolutely. You know, it's really, I don't remember who said this once, but Daytona is the great unknown. It really doesn't matter what your strategy is. What's going to matter is, are you going to be there at the end of this race after having avoided all the chaos and mayhem that we know comes with plate track racing?
Well, that battle up front here, lap number 1 just in your books, and a good start for that 44 machine. As he is running right now, that is Glenn Campbell. As he's up in your top 5, your current race leader, a very familiar name here in sim racing, and that is the number 81 car right now of Steve Gottschalk. Excuse me, the 91 car of Steve Gottschalk.
Steve Gottschalk's been doing this a while. I've known him only for about, 3 or 4 years, and he loves these plate tracks, John. This is his forte, is the word he likes to use, and you're right. He's putting on a great show right now, maintaining that lead on lap 2 of 80. And I was talking to some guys earlier, John, and fuel mileage may actually come into play. If these guys behave and keep this thing green, we may actually see some green flag pit stops about midpoint of this race.
Well, that Goya number 26 of Jose Gonzalez, and you saw it at Talladega in the SIM500 series last week. He loves that high line, and he'll put it up there as long as he can find some minutes. He's got Doy Woods now, though, who's going to poke to his outside. He'll make it 3 wide for just a brief moment.
Yeah, I tell you what, 3 wide early on in this race. Get your hairs up on the back of your neck. Look at this 3 wide up there. He's got help, though. Well, he had help in the 15 of Nick Silver. Nick's going to duck back down in the middle line there and going to hang Doy out to dry. And that's the one thing you don't want to see in your mirror, John, and when you jump up to the 3rd line like that, is your help leaving you sitting out there.
Yeah, you can be left out to dry. And right now, the guy with a big run, that is Pedro Mojica coming around the outside. He's going to challenge for your race lead to the outside of Steve Gottschalk as they are battling door to door through the corner. And it is 2 wide, 3, 4 deep now up front.
Up front, you've got that by Pedro Mojica on the top side. Like you said, he's got help from Kevin DeBrown. He's got Jose Gonzalez behind him. And I think up there Behind him is going to be, I believe, Gillenwater, isn't it? No, I'm sorry. That's 41 of EJ O'Rourke. It was a black car for a second there. I didn't even have a number.
EJ O'Rourke right there on that outside line. 4 cars, nose to tail on that outside line. Mojica, that front car in line, using the advantage of all that horsepower and aerodynamic push behind him, and they are battling door to door for that top spot. And John Gottschalk in that Nerf machine fighting down low. Gottschalk trying to hold on to that top spot.
Trying to hold on to it, doing a good job right now. Back there, though, about 5th and 6th, EJ O'Rourke keeps peeking to the outside of the 26 car, that Goya car, and it looks like he's going to try and make something happen there. He's got the 23 of Josh Parker. Well, I take that back. Parker jumps down, but as he does that, Brown comes up, and now we got 3 wide fight for the lead.
3 wide, 2 deep for that top spot, and the guy still moving, though, is Gottschalk down to the bottom. What a great job he's doing of using the momentum of those cars behind him right now as they make their way down through this tri-oval.
Absolutely. I tell you, iRacing's done a lot over the last couple of builds to improve the way side drafting actually works in this sim. And Gottschalk is a guy to watch. He really knows how to work that side draft. But as you see right now, the 90's got a nose on him coming down through 2 and 3.
Sorry, 1 and 2. Too deep for your top spot. And once again, it's the 90 of Mojica. He's the cheese in the sandwich, along with the 26 of Gonzalez. They're stuck in that middle lane. And you know from your experience, John Mustard Jr., being in the middle like that, being the cheese in the sandwich, man, you've really got to be careful.
Absolutely. These cars don't wiggle quite as much as the B car does, the Xfinity car, but they still boogie a little bit, especially with that little weird spoiler they've got on these things now. But you got some of the best drivers right here in sim racing, and usually these guys that are up front doing the 3 wide, John, they can handle it, and they make it last a while.
Well, that 93 car, Kevin Brown, though, he had that momentum up top. Now he is fading back as that middle line takes the advantage. And I think really and truly Josh Parker and that 23 Interstate Batteries Toyota Camry, he has shown the ability at these restrictor plate tracks to know how to work the lines better than just about anybody here in the Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series. Right now, he has put himself in the outside line. He's going to try to take advantage of the momentum coming from Kevin Brown and company.
He's got some help up top there with Kevin. Well, as I say that, Kevin Brown ducks down, but Donnie Lee is up there. It looks like the 21 of Nick Cohan's trying to get a piece of this action here, and we've got another car. Look at that, a big wiggle out of Cohan back there.
Boy, some tense action back there from about the 7th spot on back. That 87 of Andre Nunez right there in the middle part of your screen, also having a tough deal of it in that middle line. But I've been impressed with what number 90, Pedro Mojica, has been able to do. He's been sniffing that lead with Gottschalk, not been able to take it away. And then the 41 of EJ O'Rourke has been a very patient pusher. And eventually, though, you know, we haven't talked about this yet. You push long enough, those water temps can begin to climb.
Absolutely. That's definitely something they've had to deal with a few times at the plate tracks is when you get your nose too close and restrict the air, these engines tend to really overheat fast. So you got to keep your eyes on that. At the same time, keep your eyes on the mirror for a run coming from the outside like we're seeing right now with the 26 car. We've got him up there in the high line. I believe that's Josh Parker behind him. Behind him is Donnie Leah, and they got the 20 car, Trey Essen up there. And look at that. Push the 26 to the lead right there. Come through.
I'm telling you what, you watch that 26 of Jose Gonzalez. He was shot out of a cannon thanks to the 23 of Josh Parker. That Interstate Batteries Toyota making that move down the backstretch there. He gave him the bump and puts him in front of Mojica, just slams the door on Mojica. Now Mojica now with the outside of Gonzalez. That Goya machine down low. Mojica up top, and it's got the 91 of Gottschalk giving help down low to Gonzalez as we enter the front stretch.
I think that Gottschalk probably stopped breathing for about 5 seconds right there going through 3 or 4. I mean, the 26 car, Gonzalez, that was a heck of a move he pulled. Stumbling all the way down from the 3rd groove up to the inside line like that. Usually doesn't work out for most folks, but people
lost a lot of momentum there was Josh Parker. He shoved that put him to the lead, but then that has cost Josh Parker about 6 spots on the speedway. His help's going to come in the form of the 20 of Trey Edison, the 2 long cars up there on the top side of the speedway in that 3rd line. But right out front right now, it's Mojica and the 26 of Gonzalez battling it out for your top spot behind them. Then once again, you've got Gottschalk in that 91 machine. And
we've got a lap car coming up here, John. It's going to be it's going to be an option for these guys to dodge. I can't see exactly who that is right now, but they're going to make their way around. He's going to drop down on the apron. Very good sportsman-like move to do there. give them plenty of room. In the meantime, there goes the 90 car, Pedro Mujica around Jose Gonzalez in 26 with help from E.J. O'Rourke, and he's going to take the lead.
That's right. Pedro Mujica assumes the top spot. Now here comes Gonzalez back to the outside. He uses the momentum for E.J. O'Rourke now to put that 26 scoring machine out in front. So that outside line now with a lot of momentum. But look at E.J. O'Rourke. He wastes no time going after him down low in the turn.
Rourke with the power move down the inside. He's going to take the lead away. In the meantime, up high, Donnie Lee in the 29 car and his Toyota. The Toyota Racing Designs, I'm sorry, I messed that all up, but that black Toyota help from the 29 of Daniel Falkingham. Talk about where'd he come from. He started dead last in this thing.
Falkingham not taking time, but it has taken no time for him to put that 39 best rate bait machine up into your top 10. And that outside line there, as you talked about, being driven by that 29 of Donnie Leah. But back out front, E.J. O'Rourke now. He better look because here comes the momentum to that second line. Jose Gonzalez there with the momentum on the outside. He's being pulled down that straight by the 93 machine of Kevin Brown as they battle now side by side for your top spot.
What a fight we've got going on here between 26 and the 41 up front. He is going to duck back down in line now and try to just maybe conserve a little bit there and wait for another chance to do his pass on the outside. If you time it just right, Jonathan, you can really make a good move on the outside, but I have found that it's easier to draft up on the car in front of you going through turns right here like they are, and then start your run to the outside just as you exit the corner, swing out there and let your momentum pull you past that car. Hopefully you'll have help. But man, what a lead right now that the 26 car has on the field with E.J. O'Rourke pushing him.
That's right. E.J. O'Rourke has been the best friend of Jose Gonzalez here down this stretch now as they go into turns 3 and 4. You can see that low line has all the momentum. The first car on the outside line, and he's still fading, is the 93 of Kevin Brown. But now look at Mujica. He comes up, takes advantage of momentum. Here comes E.J. O'Rourke back streaming by on the outside as they caught the momentum just right to push the 41 to the race lead.
Wow, that was awesome right there. Some great work with those two, getting themselves positioned to get up there and fight. And now it looks like, I don't know if the 26 car of Jose Gonzalez is leaning back a little bit there or what, but he got a huge gap between his bumper and the E.J. O'Rourke's 41 car there. But here they come powering back to the inside.
It's all about momentum here at Daytona International Speedway here tonight in your Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series. Right now, oh boy, that's getting really difficult. Almost going around. Look at the Donnie Leah machine up on the outside, retaining wall, sparks are flying. And boy, that could have been disastrous.
Are you kidding me? That, at the front of the field, that would have wiped out probably the majority of the field right there. But that right there speaks to the caliber of these drivers. And they're still bumping and banging back there. Donnie was trying to force his way down into the line there before he lost too much room. But I'm telling you, Jonathan, anybody else probably would have just spun that car and taken out half the field.
I have to agree with you right there. We are working right now in front of this field. Jose Gonzalez, Pedro Mujica, E.J. O'Rourke, Kevin Brown, and Steve Gottschalk. Those guys are putting on an incredible display so far here tonight.
I'm looking at that 29 car. He's got some significant damage on that right front. That's going to hurt him. He'll probably be able to get in the pits, get that fixed under caution if they have a caution. He probably won't do that under green, though, because you really don't want to lose a whole lot of time. But, yeah, he's got a ton of damage on that right front corner. It's definitely going to hurt him. And from a guy that was just running up front, fourth there, Jonathan. He's dropped back now.
Working lap 15 of 80, lap 16 now to Daytona International Speedway. Here, part of your Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series. And boy, tell you what, the racing so far has not disappointed, John. It's been incredible what these guys are doing. Really just massaging the momentum of these different lines. And right now, so far, we've been clean and green from the drop.
Yes, we have. And I mean, we talked about this at the start of the race. Were they going to be aggressive? Were they going to take it easy? Well, I guess our question's been answered.
No doubt about it. Now, John, you talked about pit stops. At what point are we going to begin to see if this thing stays green here? At what point are pit stops going to come into play?
You know, I wish I could give you a good answer, Jonathan, but with these guys, it's like playing chicken. I'm serious. These guys are just so good at making you second guess your own strategy. So you're back here, you're thinking, okay, so I've got 36 laps of fuel. I'm going to duck in, try and maybe squeeze in at lap 30, make this a two-stop race. But in the meantime, you're watching the guys around you, in front of you, and what are they going to do? They don't talk about it. Sometimes they'll fake really low, come off of 4, and you'll think, oh, they're going in now. Oh, look at that. Falkingham just gave the bumper to Jose Gonzalez there coming through that turn, and He got way up high. He saved it, didn't hit the wall, but he's going to lose a lot of spots for that.
Boy, Daniel Falkingham, he has put the bumper to a few guys here in the last couple laps very aggressively. But Falkingham, you've talked about it. He's a very aggressive driver. He wins, and he knows how to get the job done. But right now, he's got his hands full as here comes Josh Parker and the Interstate Batteries machine to the outside of him as they battle right there for the 4th spot of the Speedway.
And he's got Trey Edson pushing him. That's good help right there. Edson's a great for these plate tracks. Really knows how to get it done. And look at that. We got three wide, 2 rows deep, and Gottschalk's back there just kind of watching all this happen.
Kevin Brown was leading at the last strap by lap 18. Now finds himself battling for your 4th spot. Down low is Pedro Mojica. Then up top, it's Josh Parker. And then momentum, he's going to try to come back on the outside. But Daniel Falkingham is pushing hard down low on Mojica.
Indeed he is, and that's, you said it earlier, you hit the nail on the head there. Falkingham is a very aggressive driver, but he knows how to do it. He gets it done. He's got several wins throughout this league in several different series. And, this is just a prime example right here, Jonathan, on lap 20 almost here. The lead has changed. I don't even know. I've lost count how many times we had lead changes. It's just so fluid and so dynamic with these guys.
Oh, yeah, and it's just about as quickly as momentum changes. That really is the case as we've been seeing now that 3 wide. That's a very tight move right there. Kevin Brown in between those. We got him going around back behind.
Oh, big wreck. And they're still wrecking up front.
Yeah, 2 different sets of incidents going on this field right now has put us under the caution at lap number 19. We'll kind of give you a review as to what took place there. But, boy, that one got rough there for just a brief moment. Now, back in your field, let's go back here around the area of where Watkins was running. That looks to be where this one got underway, and it happened there. You've got the 4-car Robert Gillenwater. Gillenwater will make contact with Donnie Leah, sends Donnie Leah around, and that starts the wreck in the back of the field, but then you called it. Up towards the front there, we had another one break out about the same time. Did you catch what started that one?
No, I didn't see it. It looked like the 88 maybe checked up, and the car behind him, I'm trying to get back to it now, but the car behind him did not check up. It looked like.
2 cars I see involved. AJ Browning in that 88 car was one of the 2 front runners involved. The other was Kevin Brown, who, as we talked about just a moment ago, was your race leader and now finds himself in a world of hurt. But the caution flag is out. We're working lap number 20 of 80 here at Daytona International Speedway as part of your Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series. Jonathan Sanford here, John Mustaine Jr., Hiram Darner down in the production booth. I know there's been some technical difficulties that they are working through here tonight, but right now no technical difficulties for your race leader, Josh Parker, who's going to come down pit road for 4 fresh tires and top off of fuel.
Actually, I hate to differ with you, but they probably won't take tires unless they were involved in the accident and had to lock them up to slow down. Tire wear is almost non-existent on these cars here at the plate tracks. It's kind of sad, really. I wish they make a tire that fell off.
Take 2 right side tires. I see Josh Parker has taken 2 right side tires.
Yep.
No, he's going ahead.
He's going 4.
4.
I love it when I say something they make me look like I'm stupid.
Well, that's one thing about sim racing I've learned since 1996. Whatever you think they're going to do, most of the time they'll do directly the opposite.
Exactly. I tell you, so you've been doing this about as long as I have, then it sounds like. Started way back with the Patton series back in 94. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, it's come a long way.
Steve Gottschalk there, one of the front runners that came down pit road. You see E.J. O'Rourke all the way back out on the speedway. It looks like he'll be the first of your leaders out. So it'll be E.J. O'Rourke, Bill Schroenover, Steve Gottschalk, Josh Parker, Pedro Mojica, your top 5 after that round of pit stops.
It looks like E.J. went fuel only, and Gottschalk maybe took fuel only, maybe 2 tires. I can't tell by his pit times. I can go back and look at it, but just look at their pit times. A lot of these guys took fuel only. Well, and some took tires. Yeah.
Some of the other SIM500 series that you can see here, they race 7 nights a week. 6 of those, I believe, are broadcasted. Now, some of those series, from my experience with them so far, some of those have a tire limit. So if there was a tire limit here tonight, I'm sure that would really affect. But, you know, at Daytona or Talladega, it's one of those deals where, you know, if you take 4, unless you get caught up in something, you can make your way to the front. I mean, real quickly, I mean, think about what Falkingham did. Started way back 20th, I believe it was, further 21st, and then made his way in the top 5 in, the first 10 laps. So, you know, if it were my crew chief, he's probably begging me to take just fuel only like you would have been. But as a driver, I'm saying just go ahead and give me the 4 freshmen. I can battle my way back up through there.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I've played that game myself. Sometimes I'll take 4 just to see what happens. But speaking of tire limits, you were talking about that a minute ago. The tire limit for this race was 3. So basically, they start the race with a pair, and they have 2 more sets in the pits. I said pair, didn't I? You know what I meant. They start the race with a set, and then they have 2 more in the pits.
They start out with their set. They have 3 after that. So a total of 4,
okay.
Counting your beginning. That's the SIM500 setup there. So in other words, you have the set that you start with, and this will be their first set to use. So, hey, that brings up a great point, though. We talked about it. Josh Parker, he's taken a set of those tires, so only has 2 sets remain. And, again, though, does that really matter at Daytona with the tire wear? We'll find out. But we're working lap 22 of 80, and I hope that our coverage here is able to come back up soon, you know, because this is just some great racing here at Daytona International Speedway. John, you and I, first opportunity to work here in the booth together. I'm enjoying it so far because, I mean, the racing has not disappointed. Now, hated to see that cautioned and see guys like the 88 car be caught up and see him end up with some damage, especially what we witnessed there as well. Another one of your front runners, A.J. Browning was that car. Donnie Leah also involved. Trying to see if I can figure out who the other car, the 93 machine of Kevin Brown, was caught up in that incident. The green flag is back out, and we're going to see what they can do.
And here we go. I tell you, it was a lot of our top runners involved in both of those accidents. In the meantime, O'Rourke wastes no time taking the lead. But look at that move by Josh Parker. A big move to the outside with some help from Steve Gottschalk. Down low, though, O'Rourke, Scott Edson pushing him behind him.
That's right. They are battling door-to-door for that top spot. Parker, though, has the momentum as Gottschalk, along with Pedro Mojica, providing the push as they go down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Parker with the momentum up top. They're going to find their way out around the outside of E.J. O'Rourke, but can that low side gain some momentum back through the corner?
In the meantime, these, 8, 9 cars right here, they kind of broke away from that second pack back there. If these guys are smart, they'll get single file and really try to maybe extend that lead, get themselves separated from the big pack, and then maybe go after each other after, about 10 or 12 laps.
Watching that time, you saw Trey Edison there duck below the yellow line just for a moment. Did not advance his position, but stays right there in line. So you've got E.J. O'Rourke now. He's back out in front as that low line momentum was able to do that. Chris Gabot, we haven't talked about that number 5. A beautiful-looking race machine right now running in your top 6. He provided a lot of momentum down the low side.
I was just looking at that car, Jonathan. It's a gorgeous car. I love that color blue. But, yeah, it's amazing how those 3 guys down on the inside are able to keep up and basically pass those guys on the outside, even though they're
I have to agree with you. And looking right now, that 41 machine of E.J. O'Rourke showing the strength down on the low side of the speedway. Josh Parker just not showing the momentum up top right this moment. And you would think with 5 cars up there, they would just motor on by these 3 down on the low side.
You would, but I mean, they just, like I said, the O'Rourke and Edson and Gabot down there on the inside are really just I wouldn't say they're running away with it. They're definitely maintaining themselves down there, not giving up any ground, getting that lead a little bit. And it looks like the 3 car of Jeff Ryan's going to, I thought he was going to jump down the inside, but he jumps back up high.
Boy, look at this momentum coming by Glenn Campbell and the guy that was involved in your wreck, Kevin Brown, as they stream back up. I mean, boy, those cars had a lot of momentum that time. And now what was just a 5-6 car pack is going to be one big pack before long.
Yes, sir. Plate track racing, Jonathan. You gotta love it. You think you're gonna pull away. You think you're gonna get yourself out some distance, and then boom, you got 2 cars come screaming up, and they bring the rest of the pack with them. And like you said, now what was a 9-car breakaway is pretty much back to 20, 22 cars running in a pack. And like I said, that's plate racing for you, baby.
Gottschalk, who started out front, now has put himself back out in front of this field. He's the one that pushed Josh Parker the lead, and then he ducked low and took that lead away. Now he has O'Rourke battling behind him, pushing him.
Another caution.
The flag is out. Well,
don't see where it is yet.
Yeah, we're going to find out what put us under the caution here. No word yet as to why we're under the caution as of yet. Don't see anything right now, so we'll try to work on that information, but we are under caution here, lap 27 of 80 here at Daytona International Speedway as you are watching live coverage of the Coastal Safety Auditors SIM500 Cup Series. Again, live from Daytona, Jonathan Sanford Lowe and John Muschin Jr. Harold Darner down in the booth as we are under caution here, and still no word yet what the caution cause is at the moment.
The only thing I could tell is I think maybe one of the slower cars, I couldn't see what number he was when the guys went by him, but if they're low enough and slow enough, iRacing triggers a caution, unfortunately, and it happens, but I guess the bright side, Jonathan, is we don't have any more damaged cars to worry about, at least more than we did before,
That's always good. Now, here's something to think about. Caution flag is back out. It's been, what, 6-7 laps? Would you come back in and just top off with fuel just in case this thing gets to looking like a long green flag run?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to really. I mean, it's Daytona, so even if you duck in and you're only 2 or 3 cars to go in to get fuel, the worst that's going to happen is you start to back the pack. But with the draft and you've got a good enough car and a good enough driver, that's not going to be a problem.
Well, that's exactly what your race leaders are doing. Gottschalk and Parker, at least now, making their way down pit road. They'll come down to the attention of their crew, and we'll see. Will they come in and take a splash of fuel here just to top things off? Perhaps this might go to a longer green flag run. Gottschalk now sliding into attention of his crew. No tires going on that race machine currently, and he tops it off and back underway rather quickly.
There's your splash and go that you were talking about, Jonathan. I think, now, bear with me, I am from South Louisiana, so my math's not the best in the world, but I think they can go one more stop from here. If there's no more caution and it goes green, we'll probably see a mild duck down pit road right around lap 60, 65 or so.
Well, this shook up the front running just a tad bit. Not much, but just a tad bit. Pedro Mojica now, one of the first cars off of pit road with Steve Gottschalk. I believe Jeff Shrewsbury is the only car I did not see come down pit road. Now, maybe he waits for this next lap by to come in on down pit road. Sometimes the driver will do that occasionally, but Shrewsbury, a great driver and a great guy to have part of this SIM500 Cup Series league here, the Coastal Safety Auditors Cup Series. And so he's out in front, and as you see there on your screen, beautiful looking race car here tonight underneath the lights at Daytona International Speedway. You gotta love coming to Daytona at night. It's just a beautiful place to come at night with all the beauty that is Daytona. Now, unfortunately for Shrewsbury, you can see a lot of damage on that race machine.
I was gonna ask you if you were seeing that too, because you're like, that's a gorgeous car. And I'm like, he's missing his front end. Or am I the only one seeing that?
Well, I was in the blimp look from way up high just for a moment there, so I wasn't seeing the damage quite as close up until I zoomed in. I said, well, wait a second. That Mountains number 24 is missing a nose piece, and we'll probably have a major problem aerodynamically here on this restart.
Possibly. I mean, I've seen some strange things lately. All joking aside, iRacing, all the great leaps and bounds they've made with the sim, still I have seen some weird things with damaged cars, particularly in the Cup Series, performing way better than they should when they're missing front ends. So we'll see. But yeah, he's probably going to duck down, get out of the leader's way. He does it. Jeff's a great guy, great sportsmanship. So he's not going to want to be in front of everybody and hold up the line on the restart.
Well, let's real